Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's going to be my 12 through 20 pregnancy update. Yes. So I obviously didn't do like a 12 to 16, and instead of getting so far behind, we're just going to go for it and do 12 to 20 because obviously things got a little crazy at the growth scan at 19 weeks. So I'm out of breath. I need to sit just for a minute. So yeah, this is gonna encompass just symptoms like size of baby, all the things that is the 12 through 20 weeks of pregnancy. Obviously I skipped out on 12 to 16 and then here we are. So I'm gonna just start, I keep forgetting to do this, but I do have an app this pregnancy that kind of tells like her size and things like that. So I'm just going to pull it up and kind of give you guys like statistics, and then we'll go from there. So at 20 weeks, the baby was as big as a sweet potato. However, technically now I'm in the 21st week. So she's the banana, but not a huge different size-wise of a sweet potato versus a banana. She's around 11 to 12 ounces right now, and then about 10 inches or so long. And judging by her development, this is kind of what she looks like in there. This is the What to Expect, I think, app. What to Expect When You're Expecting app. I want to say I used the Bump app previous to this. I can't remember. This is just the first one that came up whenever I typed in pregnancy app, and I downloaded this app like right when I found out I was pregnant because I was, you know, just trying to get myself in gear to accept another baby. Anyways, so let's talk about symptoms between weeks 12 and 20. I obviously had doctor's appointments in between here. Mainly the growth scan was, I would say, the biggest appointment where we learned about her little abdominal defect. If you guys aren't familiar with what I'm talking about, there is a video before this one. I'll also link it below. Our baby has gastroschisis, which is a hole in her abdomen. So when we look at like measurements for the app and things like that, most likely she's going to be on the smaller side. As far as I know, they are born a lot smaller than just the average healthy pregnancy. But let's go, before we jump into that, let's go into symptoms. The only thing that I have that's newer as far as like symptom wise is that I do feel movement. She has been moving, rolling around since about 16 and a half weeks. I remember feeling her and thinking like, holy crap, she's in there moving around. And I thought 16 weeks was pretty early because I don't think I felt my other ones even close to that. I think it was much later on. So, yeah, movement for sure, especially now. She's just kind of all over the place, wiggling around. And then sciatic pain. I remember having this with the twins, but it was much later in the pregnancy. It comes and goes. And I talked to the doctor about this, and they just basically said, you know, look up stretches, look up ice therapy, doing like the ice packs and things like that, which I have done, like the stretches, which honestly have been super helpful. However, it's not always effective, and so Luke does a lot of like massages and things like that, which he's such a good like massager. So whenever I have the pain, typically he'll massage it and then it goes away. So I'm very, very thankful that he's willing to put in the work because if you've never had like sciatica pain, it is just so uncomfortable, and it's like the devil himself. It's like the worst thing of all the symptoms. Like, it's the worst. Also been having a lot of heartburn. However, they want to start with Pepcid, and it kind of comes, another thing, it just kind of comes and goes. It's definitely like what I'm eating. I'm more mindful of what I'm eating. So just typical, you know, nothing exciting as far as like crazy symptoms or anything like that. I know a lot of you are wanting an update on, you know, what we're finding out about the baby, but we don't actually see the specialist until a couple days from this video being filmed. I feel like I've known forever. but we've only known for like 2.5 weeks. And so we have an appointment here. I think when the day this posts, we have an appointment like 2 days later. Okay, the battery died. I had to like really quickly charge it. So as I was saying before, our specialist appointment is on the Friday after this video posts. How we're gonna do it is we have an 8 o'clock appointment for the ultrasound. Then we have a break in between. Then we have a 10 o'clock appointment to actually meet with a specialist. So I'm not gonna have Luke come until the 10 o'clock appointment time because there's no need for him to like leave those hours off of work. So I'm basically gonna just do the ultrasound by myself, and then because they can't tell you anything anyways, and then we'll meet the physician together. And I do have a list of questions, and because I'm sharing her obviously I shared her diagnosis. If any one of you are watching this because you have this, because your baby will be born with this, the reason why I'm sharing this is because I really want to educate someone. I've had to do a lot of research. There's not a ton of people here on YouTube that just sit here and talk about what this diagnosis is. So that's kind of why I'm here, to hopefully help someone else, because obviously I'm losing my mind. So I'm just going to tell you guys a few of the questions that I'm basically prepared to ask. One, I'm going to ask what is the induction like, how am I gonna word it? Basically, most of these pregnancies get induced around 37 weeks, so my plan is to ask them like, how far pregnant will you allow me to go? Like, in what time would you be talking about planning an induction? I'm also gonna ask about monitoring from what I've researched and the women that I've been linked with, thankfully from Instagram and YouTube. They've all told me that they had to go through like extensive monitoring at the end. So I'm gonna ask, what is the monitoring looking like at the end? Is it twice a week, once a week? What are you monitoring for? What are the things that you're looking for? That kind of thing, because obviously I wanna know like when I'm there, like what they might be looking for. I'm gonna ask them as far as, you know, what is the potential complication post-birth? Can I meet the surgery team before I, you know, have the baby? So just things like that that I want to know, that I have written down. And then I'm going to go over these questions with you guys. If I can educate even one person on this by going through this, I think it'll, you know, just make me feel better if I can at least help someone else. So when I do a whole video about the specialist appointment, I'm going to basically do like a Q&A between me and the physician and give you guys the question and answer, if that makes sense. So that's kind of my plan with that. I had a comment on YouTube asking like, why didn't you just keep this private? And it's really about just spreading awareness at this point. Like, I knew nothing. You know, I knew this existed, but I knew absolutely nothing. It was kind of one of those things where it's like, holy crap, this is happening to me and to my child and, you know, to Luke, and, you know, we're in this situation now. Of course, I'm hoping to go into this appointment and them say, oh, it's going to be a mild case. I would love to hear those words. Like everyone else would want to hear those words when it comes to a defect and, you know, having issues. But I truly don't know if they're going to be able to tell me right away if it's going to be mild or not. I think that's something that we have to wait till later on to find out. So that's pretty much the update part of this video. Just typical. I feel completely normal like I did with the rest of my pregnancies. No symptoms that are too wild. I did post a picture of my belly on Instagram. I need to post another one at some point. I guess I'll just show you guys at the end of this video. I don't know. I used to love doing them before, but I just feel like it's kind of silly to me now. I'd rather just like post an actual picture of it, but I'll stand up and show you guys where I'm at as far as like size wise. I do want to say that we did pick the baby's name, and I have like the cutest story to tell you guys about it. This is like the most casual update I think I've ever posted, but like we're on FaceTime or something. But I had a list of names on my phone, just ones that I really liked. I think it was 4 or 5, maybe even 5. And I just felt like it had to be one of those names. They were the only names that I liked. I've looked through so many names. I just know all of them. I've heard most of them. And I actually ended up adding one to the list that one of you guys commented that I had never heard before. And I just had my 5 that I was just like 100% sure it was going to be one of these. And quite a few of them he had said that, you know, he didn't love and he didn't really like, and he needed to think about and really just have them in his head for a few weeks to try them out. And so I kept randomly just throwing out one name kind of over and over. I just kept throwing it out there, and I'd, you know, touch my stomach and say, you know, this name, and he would be like, quit. And then, guys, I'm not kidding you, the day before the anatomy scan where we learned about the diagnosis, the day before, we were sitting at a restaurant bar type situation watching the March Madness like basketball tournament, and he was standing next to me and he said, what time is the appointment tomorrow for the ultrasound? And I was like, oh, you know, it's at 3 o'clock. And then he said, to see baby blank, and he said the name that I had just casually kept throwing out. And I was like so taken back by it because he had never done that with any name before. And I was like, are you serious? Like, is this it? And he's like, yeah, I think that's it. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to bring it up again. I'm not going to jinx it. Like, this is it. And we're going to move on with our lives. Like, finally, yes, I love the name. And then the next day we found out. And for some reason, I'm just glad that I went in there and I knew her name when it happened. I mean, it's such a weird thing to say that, but truly, I just feel like the name truly fits her. And learning all that, I'm like, this was supposed to be her name. And so we are going to do a name reveal at some point. We haven't told all of our families the name. We did tell Luke's mom over Easter weekend, and that we tried to tell her, and then we were giving her hints, and she was just going in the opposite direction. But she had heard this name before. I had kind of like mentioned it to her, I think, a couple times. So we are gonna, you know, make sure all of our families, like my mom, my parents, don't know it yet. So we need to tell our families before we just announce it here. I think it's just special that they would get to know that first. So once we complete telling all of them, and I'm pretty sure it's just gonna be like a phone conversation of telling them. I do want to do like a special name reveal video, just for her to have, because the twins got one. So I'm like, I don't know, I just feel like I would like to have her own little name reveal video. That's going to be like, you know, 2 minutes long, and I would like to incorporate the kids, but because it's YouTube, I might not incorporate them in that. I might just do like my own name reveal with the kids and then film a special video for YouTube. But so yeah, she does have a name, and it just was meant to be her name. It was just, I just feel like, I don't know, it's just fitting. When we found out, it just, something about it felt even more right. And I just cannot believe we picked it the day before finding out, because I thought we were going to go to the hospital with a list, because he was not moving on names. I think he was just being very cautious about picking one, because it is a huge deal to name a child. And I think he was taking it very seriously, thankfully. But I think he was thinking about it a lot more than I originally realized he was thinking about it. So she does have a name, and I am going to share that with you guys. What else? I don't think anything else. As far as like everything outside of like the updates and things like that, like small things, I am in maternity clothes now. I switched shifts at work. So I originally had, if you followed my whole like job process, I work in the forensic nursing field. I'm a medical examiner, investigator / death investigator. They're all called different things. I was originally on weekend package, and I actually switched and was able to switch to night shift Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 12-hour shifts, which I'm very thankful for, because now we get all of our family time together every weekend. So when the kids are gone, Luke and I also get our alone time on the weekends. And so it just happens to work out. I was able to drop the kids down to more part-time of daycare. So I get my days that I'm home with them too. And so it's just been very collaborative between Luke and I because he takes such a big role in the kids' lives. Obviously we do live together, but he really just is so hands-on with them and like really plays such a good role model for them, and that's something that they have not had. And so I'm very thankful for just everything kind of like going into place, and now we can kind of not stress about things like that and now stress about the baby. So yeah, that's gonna be all for this video, you guys. I don't know what else you guys want to know when I do these updates. This one is literally so casual. I worked overnight last night. I'm literally in like the makeup I wore to work last night, but I did brush my hair for you guys. So you got a little effort into me the way I look in this video. But again, thank you guys so much for all of your support. The amount of support on the last video where I talked about the diagnosis was, I didn't expect the video to like take off like that. I honestly kind of got a little bit nervous because I am sharing something that is very private, but at the end of the day, I really hope that it helps someone that's going to end up in this position inevitably at some point. And it has gotten me in contact with so many moms who have lived through this, and it gives me solace. It truly does, to have people I can go to and talk to who have been there, done that. And so again, thank you guys so much. I'm so thankful. I will see you guys next. The next video will be all about the specialist appointment and kind of answers. So we're so close to having a few answers, and I'm so happy. So again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Okay, so I have to kind of get down a little bit, but this is what it looks like. It's kind of hard because this is actually Luke's shirt, but and then I have these shorts on that kind of cut it at a weird angle. But yes, that is what she looks like. So it looks a little lopsided, but it's fine. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.